coming into the program, or coming into understanding a little bit more about the work that you do, I had no idea how that would actually apply. Being in a leadership role in a corporate environment, helping to develop emerging leaders has been a focus of mine for several years. And as you and I started to have some conversations about the impact that the horses can have on understanding our roles, our strengths, and the gifts that we bring into the world, it became apparent that this was a match and a marriage of two passions of mine: leadership and developing a relationship with the horses. So I think that just became very obvious the more conversations I had with you about how you move this work forward and how you honor the horses in the process. That's going to be taking these learnings back to the corporate world. I think that we have a lot of emerging leaders in the corporate world that don't know what their personal strengths are and are trying to shoehorn themselves into somebody else's vision of what a leader should be. And I think that this is really where partnering with the horses to help reflect back what their authentic leadership really is can really help them to stand on their own 2 feet and to develop their own leadership style. And we need a whole lot more leaders in this overall world, but it's particularly in the corporate world, because it's just so concrete and inflexible. I think that we need to introduce a different way of leadership in the corporate world. Learning about my own strengths. You know, I thought I had a pretty good understanding of the strengths that I had and the gifts that I brought to the table. I clearly have far more than I gave myself credit for, and areas that I thought that perhaps were not my strength and that I should have left to somebody else are actually part and parcel with the skill set that I have. And having the horses reinforce that and reflect that back to me has been enlightening. It's been empowering. Well, I want to say that everyone can benefit with closer connection with horses and with the overall experience. In particular, this program, those that have a real love for nature, for reconnecting with that grounded side of their being, and really re-engaging in that overall authentic way of living. Those are the individuals that can really benefit from this program, because you can really deepen into what your personal strengths are, how to hold that authentic way of living, being, and leading, because that's what horses teach us. They teach us all about that personal leader that we all have, that we need to shine forth. And I think that those are the individuals that are going to benefit most from this sort of program. And in turn, I think that those individuals that you know, go through the program can bring that enlightened experience to everybody else. It's not going to be for everyone. An experience with these amazing creatures is for everyone. Yeah. And that's what we need to put forth. Yeah. You know, I've looked at a lot of leadership sort of programs, and although there have been some indications of equine facilitated corporate events, it's been more in the vein of team building or company functions. I've never seen a program like this that trains people to lead others in that horse-human connection. And I think that that's, you know, probably the biggest thing. There's not another program I've found like it. The industry as a whole is just emerging, and any programs that are similar to this are a long ways away. They're usually in the States or overseas. So this is a program that is unique in the area, and I think that certainly the way you facilitate it and the interaction with the herd is probably unique anywhere. My expectation, well, I didn't know what to expect coming into the program, to be honest with you. I had a vision in my head that there would be more one-on-one work with the horses in a more structured environment that was a bit more schooled or staged. I want to say staged, and that's not quite the right word. But when I got here and there was so much freedom for the horses to choose to engage, you know, certainly there's the facilitation side of it, where you walk us through some of that that interaction and personal reflection and our own personal development. I think that's one of the beautiful things about this program as a whole, is that we've got a beautiful balance of that introspective time to do the personal development and take those questions into this amazing herd of 25, 26 horses that can reflect back some of those learnings, and to have that ability to have the horses at liberty to engage as they will, and you know, have the freedom of choice instead of responding in an automatic fashion because they have been trained or broke to do so. It is unbelievably empowering to be able to interact with them in that fashion. It's just been heartwarming and profound in what they have to offer and teach us. I think what surprised me a little bit from a personal perspective is how much the herd reflected back to me that I needed to allow myself to be a bit more vulnerable and to trust in that space, that open-hearted space of vulnerability as a strength. For me personally, that's a bit of a challenge, and the herd has reinforced that several times over the last 4 days. But along with that, or I should say, and along with that is a better way of phrasing that, they have reinforced that developing that trust and vulnerability will also be one of the greatest strengths on the facilitation side. And they really have shown that you can be vulnerable and set boundaries and be discerning in your vulnerability and have choice in that. And to, as a facilitator, to watch them respond and interact with each other at that level truly reflects back to us how dysfunctional we as humans interact with each other, because their communication is clear, it's pure, it's immediate, and there is no judgment and there is no baggage with it. It's instant, and I think that we all need to learn that. And as a facilitator, it's been an opportunity for me to recognize that I don't have to take things so personally, and there is no shame or harm in vulnerability and in setting boundaries and using that discernment. They do it all the time, and you know, still have a great relationship, and the strength of the relationships is reinforced as a result of it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways this weekend. I kind of knew it, but they've just reinforced it this weekend, that is an absolute necessity. Well, I have to say, this is just an absolutely beautiful property to be able to be present at, and I thank you for the opportunity. It's a beautiful area. The horses are amazing companions and teachers. We are well fed, and to speak to the space that you create In the program, we're about halfway through, and you know, we've got a wonderful group of people that are in the program that are open and sharing, and we are all very different in our strengths and our abilities, and it has become such a rich and powerful place to explore our own personal development. And I think that you masterfully hold that space for us. It's just an amazing experience all the way around, yeah.